On the Fringe with Dan radio style. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. The lie the media has told that's going to come back around and bite them in the ass. And I almost wonder if that was some of what Trump was doing intentionally at the debate, was trying to lead all these crazy people on the left into making up a bunch of lies, telling a bunch of lies. And then ultimately he knew that his backup forces, us, were going to come in and demonstrate that they were, in fact, lies. This is going to be horrible for them, and of course, we've got some information around this. Let's got a lot of information, actually. Let's go ahead and get into it. Wanted to, show this just heroic effort to help this lady. This lady, we've been having some major fires here in California, and they're happening in a bunch of places right now, so don't feel bad for us, but I will show what I've been dealing with locally, and it's been close. I, for the first time in my life, actually had to think about what would I take if I have to evacuate. And from what I was understanding, they were only getting like 2 hours notice, and maybe you're lucky to get that much. So yeah, kind of crazy times. Here's a lady that is definitely not dressed for a fire, but thank God she had someone come in and rescue her. It's beautiful. It would have been so extraordinarily hot. Oh, yeah, we should let this come up. This is a pretty cool little graphic they have. But Riverside County Fire Department, good job, you guys. That's, yeah, impressive. And my grandfather, he retired from L.A. County firefighter. So, again, got firefighters in the background in the history. This is kind of a fast motion of a fire that broke out literally, was it Wednesday? I want to say it was Wednesday. At 1 p.m. my time, local time. And literally within 2 hours, it had become quite an amazing fire. And I didn't even find out about it until my friends texted me and said, dude, that's pretty close to you, right? And I was like, huh? And I went outside and stuck my head out there, and I'm like, holy crap. So, yeah, a little sketchy, but as it turned out, thank God, safe so far. But the fires are still going on. They're just moving in a totally different direction. But this is kind of what we were up against and how quickly this thing spun up in here many times. So, yes, this is the fire that was oddly close, and it just kind of spun down the ridge. It's a trip. It's just an absolute trip what's been going on, and I know there's other places that are having significant issues as well. So hearts and prayers out to everybody that is going through all the crazy stuff out there. Another James O'Keefe story where he's confronting someone at Google, the Google growth strategist Dakota Leeser. He was on Google talking about how Google's definitely been coordinating the search results to help favor Kamala Harris. That's one, election interference. 2, probably illegal. 3, they just got busted for a monopoly with the search engines. And here we are finding out that they, in fact, are trying to sway the elections. Isn't that interesting? Here's another moment where the left tried desperately to pin someone down. This is odd of all people. This is Usher that they had on. And I was thinking it was R. Kelly at first. I was going to say then he peed on all of them when he was done. But it's actually Usher. Usher's kind of cool. Got a weird-shaped head, but outside of that, it was interesting how he, I think, dodged this question.
That in this emergency that we're in, I think that behooves artists to come out and speak for Kamala against Donald Trump, because he is an existential threat to the country. What do you say to that?
You know what? I don't get too deep into politics. I didn't get a chance to watch the debate last night. I obviously have been watching like everybody else. I think voting is an individual choice. And I think that you're right. You have to look at the reality of the country that we are and the country that we want to be, and find the candidate that you feel both are who fits the category of where we want to be. Yeah. And that's it. And that's what you vote based off of. Who you highlight and how you choose to highlight it on whatever platform you have is your prerogative.
Yes.
Yeah. Wait, isn't that a Bobby Brown song? Your prerogative, my prerogative. Okay, maybe not funny, but still. And also, like, am I wrong? Was the head shape kind of funny? Like, he almost looks like he's got some of that, like, I don't want to say cone head blood, but, you know, the elongated skulls. You guys have probably heard some of those crazy stories out there. Whatever the case is. Nancy Pelosi's doubling down again, saying she begged Trump to send National Guard. We've got her on camera. Her own daughter filmed it, talking about how it was her fault. Yet here she is. It's so weird to me that these people can run around and say opposite things when there's opposite things with their own mouth, saying, like, how? It is a trip to me how hypocritical they can be and just not even think twice about it. Unreal.
Let me just say, what is so offensive to me is that there's some really good Republicans out there who put up with his saying he never offered any National Guard. Even Mitch McConnell joined us in our bipartisan urgent, please send them. Please send the National Guard. And his Secretary of the Army, Secretary of Defense, it takes a lot of time, and he never did until finally he did hours later. More people injured, some people then subsequent to that dying, because he wouldn't send the National Guard. So for him to go on TV and lie about it, I mean, he lies all the time. That's the only, I don't know if he knows what the truth is. He's so foreign from it in his statements. But for him to lie about sending the National Guard, I sent it, they refused it. Please, press, don't let him get away with that. That's so ridiculous. And he knows that we do not have control of the security. That's dealt in a different way. And the power of the White House.
She's literally making stuff up. The security of the Capitol Police are led by the House majority and House and Senate majority, and a House minority and Senate minority. Those four people, and then the Capitol of Arms, I think on both sides, so there's another two individuals, they are responsible for the security of that building. That's just it, period. That's written all over the place. So one, there's another factual lie. And again, they keep talking about how Trump is a liar and how he doesn't even know what the truth is. And this is the same woman that just said that he never did offer up the National Guard, which we've got, Kash Patel and some other people that were talking about it, that they did that in fact, that can verify that in fact. And we've also got Nancy Pelosi admitting with her own stupid fucking face that happened, that she actually failed in getting security there. And yet here she is, running around lying. I don't even think she even knows what the truth is anymore. It's insane to me. And there's all sorts of idiots that believe this all over the place. I can think of a few in my family. It's like, you guys believe this shit. It kills me. It's like, I could show thing after thing after thing, but they won't believe it. They won't. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to turn this around on a lot of us. In the same vein, people that hold strong beliefs can't and won't open up to the actual truth. If you believe something so strongly that someone comes up and presents evidence that what you believe is not true, you will not accept their evidence. Confirmation bias, you can't accept their evidence. It would destroy your whole reality. And so there's a lot of people that, again, we've still got helicopters going on. There's a lot of people that are having a hard time making this part of the transition. And this really is the hard part of the transition. Nice. Lots of helicopters today. I think the winds must have shifted or something. I haven't actually been able to look into it yet. Whatever. We're going to find out. Trump falsely claimed, this is the Seattle Times put this out. It's another fantastic story. Trump falsely claimed during the presidential debate Tuesday that protesters took over a big portion of Seattle during the Capitol Hill organized protest in 2020. So the Seattle Times is saying Trump lied. Then readers added some context. The Seattle Times themselves have reported on the very real incident in June of 2020 where the violated protesters forcefully took control of a portion of Seattle's Capitol Hill area. It was dubbed CHAZ, Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, or CHOP, Capitol Hill Organized Protest. They literally took over, and there were injuries, there was some rape, there was a couple people were shot. There was all sorts of stuff that was happening. And then they're the ones, again, that lie. There's their own paper admitted to the story when it was happening. Their own paper lied about it. I don't even think they know what the truth is anymore. It's insane. I think I need more fiber in my diet, maybe. Don't know. Maybe got to switch to decaf. Not sure. Adam Lois, whatever. He said he posted this, debate in a nutshell. And it shows a picture of Kamala saying, I will fix things if you vote me into office, says woman currently in office. And Elon Musk responded to this, do you want current trends to continue or do you want change? That's what it comes down to. Right, we've got the whole left that's lying about what is and what's going to be, and then blaming us still for what they've done for 3.5 years. This is Again, do we want to continue what they've been doing for 3.5 years as they've been destroying this nation, or do we want to maybe try something different and overwhelmingly show up at the polls? The company responds to a theory that Harris wore audio earrings at the debate. This is the company that makes the similar device. And they said the resemblance is striking. Now, they personally don't have any, and they've also never necessarily, they didn't design it for this, but they said it would be a great place to use something like this. Now, odds are it's the military that's created something to this effect. I mean, CIA's got all sorts of listening devices and cameras and crap and all sorts of pieces of jewelry and everything else. So, again, this company that's doing it now, the technology's already existed. Now, oddly, this company is actually in a lawsuit, I want to say against China, for stealing their patents, their intellectual property, their IP, as it's called. And so they're currently in a lawsuit over that. But they admit, that's strikingly similar. That's strange. Basically saying it could very well be. We don't know for sure, but probably. There's no way she did that well on her own. CNBC's Rick Santelli just frickin' goes off. This is pretty cool, watching someone lose their S. And I already dropped an F-bomb. I don't know why I'm worried about cussing at this point. Whatever. This is pretty solid, and he's 100% right on the money.
Let me just ask then, since we're on the topic, Rick, how you feel about tariffs?
You know how I feel about tariffs? It's a bargaining chip. And many of the tariffs with China are still on. Once again, the moderators don't drill down on the two aspects of tariffs, but they do drill down on other areas that make no economic sense whatsoever.
But you don't think the tariffs raise prices? Just as a mathematical economic...
Listen, prices are going up no matter what, Andrew. Whether you do it on the tax side, whether you do it on the tariff side, our policies are silly. We can't be Santa Claus. All those programs aren't policies, they're promises that never get by Congress, and each one of them has a cost we can't afford because we've done this before. When you prepay and you make policies that don't make economic sense, you may think you're getting a benefit. Look at what we learned yesterday. Finally, wages reach 2019, but it doesn't reflect how much they've gone up since 2019. If you're out there and you're a young person, study up. Study up. All these superstars that made recommendations in such a timely fashion yesterday, maybe they don't feel the pain of what's going on, but I feel bad that they can't buy houses and insurance. You think these prices of insurance are going to go down, Andrew? You think people in Florida that could barely hold on to their homes could afford 300% increases in their insurance?
There is no question about that. It's a very true statement.
Right, so then why don't we talk about it? Why don't we talk about it?
Well, then there's other issues around climate issues and other things that are affecting things in Florida.
What issues did you learn last night? The ABC people were like a turkey shoot.
This dude's losing his shit, right? Like, that's pretty damn awesome. I mean, I doubt I agree with this guy ever. I'm familiar with him, but I don't like listen to any of these channels. But yeah, good point. Here's Goldman Sachs CEO David M. Solomon scorching Kamala Harris for turning a report from an independent analyst into something that's bigger than what it is intended to be. This is interesting.
Let's talk some politics. Debate was last night. Not sure if you had a chance to see it or not. Your own economic team, of course, has made news of late, suggesting that the bigger boost to growth would come from the Harris economic plan, at least over the first couple of years. She mentioned it last night. You feel the same?
So that report, which was mentioned last night in the debate, came from an independent analyst. And it's interesting, Scott. I think a lot more has been made of this than should be. What the report did is it looked at a handful of policy issues that have been put out by both sides, and it tried to model their impact on GDP growth. And the reason I say a bigger deal's been made of it is what it showed is the difference between the sets of policies that they put forward was about 0.2%. Okay, so economy grows. Okay, if you took these particular sets of policies they looked at, and by the way, we have no idea whether these policies, these things that are talked about, will ultimately be implemented. What was the growth impact? And the differential was 0.2%. So, I think our clients are trying to look at what's going on from a policy perspective and make judgments. I think this blew up into something that's bigger than what it was intended to be.
So again, it's just the way information's being represented, misrepresented, all all the in-betweens. And again, this is the type of stuff that, like when we talk about it, when we try to actually give the truth to it, that's what they consider malinformation. Because right now, like Nancy Pelosi and all these guys are doing a push to try to lie and try to get everybody to believe their lie, their version of things, which is to paint us all as liars for all the crazy stuff we talk about that's actually the truth. And that's just what we're going through. It's very interesting. Donald Trump truth this out. People are just starting to give me credit for having a great debate. The voters and voter polls showed it, but the fake news media wasn't giving the credit that was due. Now they are seeing the results with independent voters, evangelicals, and more, and saying, wow, remember, I wasn't debating one person. I was debating 3. They should fire everybody at ABC fake news. Those two lightweight anchors have brought disgrace onto our company. Well, we do finally have a good idea who that third person is. Got a great post of a lady that's talking about the interesting relationship that Kamala had with the moderator as well. Not just the owner of ABC. That's one person. So Trump was debating or not owner, but the CEO or whoever she is. There's 1. 2, she was debating Kamala, I guess. And 3, he was also debating the moderator.
So I'm finding out this morning that one of the moderators, the lady that was up there, is actually Kamala's sorority sister. So you have the sorority sister, and then you have her best friend that is one of the execs. So now we know why there was a 3-on-1 debate. So we know that it was a biased debate. No questions asked. So you're celebrating for nothing, because she never did get to her policy. She never answered any questions. They never fact checked her on anything. I want to bring something else to your attention, because a lot of people are distorted in knowing what a real leader is. See, Trump is a real leader. A real leader is not perfect by any means. For my Christians out there, you know David in the Bible wasn't perfect. You know Paul wasn't perfect. Noah wasn't perfect. Solomon wasn't perfect. Abraham wasn't perfect. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. King Cyrus. None of those leaders were perfect, but nonetheless, they were leaders. See, a leader shows up. They don't hide from the people. She's saying that she's a part of the people. Then where were you for 3.5 years? You didn't show up. You didn't show up for the families that was in Afghanistan. You didn't show up. All you did was hid behind the keyboard all weekend and talk about the real leader that showed up. You didn't show up to the border. Trump went to the border, even though he wasn't president. He showed up to the border. And for all you black people out there, she didn't even show up to the NABJ. Trump showed up to the NABJ. You know, so the only leader that's perfect was Jesus Christ. But even back then, in his day, they would have called him an imperfect leader, because he didn't concede to their itching of ears and what they wanted to do. He wasn't all about optics. All he was about his father's business, standing on the truth. That's what Jesus was about. He's the only perfect leader. But you know, Satan, they manipulate you with flattery. That's what Satan does. He makes you, they polish themselves up to deceive you. See, Satan is the father of lies. Jesus is the conveyor of truth. And that's what we need during this time. It's time to rise up and speak out against the evil of the atrocities of this party. The manipulation, the gaslighting. It has to stop. And black people, y'all are sitting up here and y'all supporting this stuff. And this woman said that she wasn't doing nothing for black folks. She was locking up black men in jail left and right. And y'all still want to back her. So she's saying that it's time for a change. She is completely right. I 100% agree. It's time for a change, and it's time to get your administration, fire her administration, and move in Trump into the White House. Y'all, so it's time to put America first instead of having America last. So y'all, let's get out there. We stay prayed up. We need to pray during these rough times, and just keep your head on the swivel. And I'll check in with y'all later. All right.
Amen. Good on her. I mean, that's 100% right. I probably played that longer than I necessarily needed to, but I actually loved what she had to say. So I felt it was cool to keep that. Vice President Kamala Harris's Muslim problem hasn't been solved as early voting begins. and it could be enough to doom her in crucial swing states. This is kind of interesting. These people aren't going to vote for Trump, but they're not voting for Kamala. Now, maybe voting for this chick on the screen, I think, but new polling of American Muslims shows the Democratic presidential nominee has yet to consolidate the demographic, and a surprising spoiler is more than holding her own in some battlegrounds. Apparently, Green Party candidate Jill Stein leads Harris among the group in 6 battleground states overall, 30 to 28% per the Council of American Islamic Relations survey released Monday. So she has lost the progressive movement. If that's true, by the way, she might then decide to become pro-Israel, knowing that she's already lost this. As, in my opinion, could actually be one of the more uniting things that happen in this nation right now. It would be a great thing from her standpoint. It would absolutely destroy her, and then on top of that, it will start the riots that I think they want. I think they don't care if it's not us fighting each other. They'll just have their people go out and burn stuff in the streets too. For them, it accomplishes much the same thing, right? And they probably won't get arrested either. So it's an interesting little problem that Kamala has. 6 states, 6 battleground states. She has completely lost that progressive vote. Interesting. In case you needed another reason to vote for President Trump, apparently former Bush AG Alberto Gonzales has just endorsed Kamala Harris. So again, people from the Bush clan, we had Cheney, and we had Dick Cheney and little Dick Cheney come out and give their support. So we have a fun little thing where the actual establishment is showing who the establishment person is and who they hate. And why do they hate the non-establishment person? Right, because he wants to bring down the establishment. Again, when I saw Trump getting attacked, because I've said this 100 times, I don't care, I'll say it 101. I didn't like Trump. I didn't vote for him. I wouldn't have voted for him. I didn't vote for anybody that election. I didn't go to the damn election. Last election I went to was 2022, all right? And prior to that, it was Ross Perot who I voted for, and that's when I got very disenfranchised with the whole stupid system. But this whole thing is demonstrating to us who the establishment is. They all decided to attack Trump right when he came down the escalator, and that was really when I realized, holy crap. And then when I saw the Q posts and stuff, I was like, all right, I got to get into this. I gotta throw my hat in the ring. So here I am, right? Here I am. Here's another interesting piece of just phenomenal information. I love Eric Weinstein. I've seen, I think I've gone back and watched a few of his original episodes on Joe Rogan. Love him. Love Weinstein. This dude's brilliant, and I think he's coming at things from just a very smart place, kind of like Elon Musk. And he's definitely leaning he's in the center, unquestionably. He's just watching his public scrutiny. But yeah, this dude's been attacked by the establishment himself, so he's no lover. He sees what's happening.
Donald Trump is. He's a guy who's got formulas that confuse people like Sam Harris. You know, Sam and I have been debating this for years. I think that Trump is an incredibly intelligent man, and that there's incredible method in his tweets of old. You could put them into a data set, and you say that there are 5 or 6 different types of tweets, and that the left falls for every one of them every time. So in this situation, you have a question. How is it that Donald Trump and RFK Jr. cannot possibly reach the Oval Office, and we have to have a candidate who is pre-subscribed to perpetuating these institutions, these agreements, and these orders? And there's only 1 out of 3 who has that character, and that person is not won a primary. Right now, we have no idea who's running the United States of America. I just came here in a Tesla, and I did not steer once. And I would say America is in full self-driving mode, and we don't know what the AI is that's running the Oval Office. And that's really bizarre, given that we have something like 6 minutes to make a decision about nuclear launches. We have no idea what the United States government.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to have gotten a little bit more.
Donald Trump is. He's a guy who's got formula.
Fuck. Sometimes it's hard as hell to get out of there. This is the thing I wanted to talk about with confirmation bias. And I'm going to say every single one of us, I've probably still got some. I've literally been working on this consciously, though, for about 30 years. I don't even want to get into all the crap I've done. Consciously, literally been working on trying to remove as many of these things from my own belief systems as possible. Now, many would say, Dan, you frequently talk about what you think's going to happen with the economy and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't think the deep state system's allowed to stay. That's what I understand is the change, and everything seems to be supporting this change happening on, one, a global level, but two, the friggin' solar system's also changing right now. Like 8 of the 9 planets, yes, I'm counting Pluto, 8 of the 9 planets are actually showing all sorts of crazy effects on their atmospheres in many, many different ways. So something's happening. And this something happens, we think, about every 6,000 years, and every 12,000 years we have a major version of this something. I believe we're on the minor I don't know if it's the major one or the minor one. I want to say I think that it might be the major one. I don't know. I feel like it's the end of a larger cycle, though, and that's what many have said. This is a graduation. This is another thing that has been kind of sprinkled into my life all over the place. Again, God leads us in strange ways. It made very little sense until all of this stuff started happening with Trump, and then I swear to God, my entire life suddenly made sense. I just figured I was crazy. I just accepted I was crazy. I'm like, whatever. Everyone thinks I'm crazy. Probably am. Who knows? Maybe I'm like this is my experience, right, that I'm having, but literally I'm just like medicated and drooling in some corner in some room in some hospital, right? Like, like that I figured. I was just like, whatever the case is. But we all have confirmation biases. They exist, one, in our spirituality, our religion, big time. They exist in our beliefs about the world around us. They exist in our beliefs regarding the potentiality of UFOs, for example. They exist in regards to politics, of course. Trump, or even some people just dislike the Democrats so much they would never vote Democrat no matter what. Like, it goes all sorts of directions. But the Trump derangement syndrome thing is a funny thing. And it's much like what I consider kind of the flat earth thing right now. And again, I'm not trying to start fights with anybody. You believe flat earth, that's fine. It's totally cool. I don't think it's the biggest problem on the planet, but it serves as an awesome talking point at this moment. Confirmation bias is awesome because if you believe the earth is flat, you just believe it's flat. So everything that anyone ever tries to present to you that would demonstrate it's not, you have to smash it down. And this would be a perfect example of one of those. This is a picture of this guy, what's his name? Jamie Burns, supposedly, that went to Antarctica. Now, I don't know, I've never been there, but it sort of looks kind of like that Antarctica kind of feel to it. Bunch of penguins, that would imply it's Antarctica, but maybe it's just some giant zoo and a green screen. But the thing is if you believe the earth is flat, this is impossible. Jamie never could have gone to Antarctica because it's impossible to go to Antarctica, right? It's this wall around the earth that you can't get out of. It's where the snow globe begins, and right, or whatever. And so it's a funny thing because we've got examples of people that have been down there. I actually watched a cool thing where the pilots were flying and landing there. I think it was a commercial flight, and it was kind of earlier on when they were trying to get some people down there in a generally quick way, and it's difficult to do. And anyway, it's a big, long thing. Or, again, our confirmation bias is around politics and the government. There's a lot of people that believe the government wouldn't ever lie to us. Why? Why would they do that? They're there for us. This is a government of the people, by the people, for the people. And it's like, that's not even close to what's happening. Oh, you're just saying a bunch of conspiracy stuff. Every one of us has confirmation biases. Every one of us. If there's anything that you just believe is truth, I mean, like the clone stuff is a fun one. Maybe there's clones. I don't know. Maybe there's not. But it's a really huge stretch if you fully believe that. And you're running around going, no, that Hillary's dead, or Yellen got COVID, so they took her out and replaced her with a clone, or why? And maybe, I don't know, but it is like an extra step. And what it is it's that like need to have your confirmation bias fulfilled. Rather than just say, I don't know. Maybe Janet Yellen has COVID. Maybe she doesn't. Maybe they're replacing her. It's weird that she's got COVID. I know she's vaccinated, or supposedly is. So, right, like that's like what we know. But we create a story that's further than that. We're famous for doing it as humans. It's like we do it all the time. And I don't want to beat a dead horse per se, but I honestly think it's probably one of the most important things. Each of us as individuals look in the mirror and go, what do I believe? What are things that I believe really, really, really strongly? And then be like, am I 100% accurate on these things? Or is there maybe room for evolution, room for growth, room for broader ideas, stronger understandings, deeper understandings? Because ultimately that's what we're all going through. A change, a transition, a graduation. Those that will make it will make it. I hope it's a bunch of us. I expect that I kind of feel like it's 2/3 or more that are going to make it. I hope. Who knows? Again, we'll see. It's a day-by-day thing. Just open your minds, open your hearts. You don't know everything, and you certainly don't know anything. That's the one thing I've learned. The more that I learn is the more I realize I don't know anything. And it's just much easier to just come at life and be like, okay, what is life showing me? What do I experience? That's real. Someone tells me something about something that happened in a place that I can't experience, I can't witness, I can't see. Well, it's kind of irrelevant, really. And again, I play with these thoughts too. Don't get me wrong, it's fun, but I don't make decisions based off of something that I hold as concrete. I don't think there's much that I hold as concrete. I know that, well, there are some things. God's definitely been holding my hand through all this, but it's just strange. It's just strange. We've got a lot to go and learn as a society, and I pray that we do. I pray that we do. Gold is up huge. Bid price $25.55 right now. We've been talking about the craziness. Silver is actually almost at 30, which is crazy. So we're seeing the numbers come up in a big way, folks. I keep saying it, and it's soon. I don't know when, but at some point it's going to be pointless for me to do these commercials. I'm going to tell you that. And some of you might just be like, thank God. If you're in an IRA or a 401k, I would get out of their system. It's based off dollars. It's based off stocks. Both of these things are being heavily affected by inflation. Our government continues to print money like it's going out of style. We're going in debt $1 trillion every 100 days, and that's actually shrinking. It's more. It's because, everything's getting more expensive. Rents are going out of control. Everything, right? This is insane. Things are definitely not staying together right now. And if you stay in their system a whole lot longer, the system is going to take a hit at some point, and you're going to lose a bunch of wealth. A bunch. That's some of why I know I'm helping people by pointing you in this direction. DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. My extremely good friends, my partners over at Goldco, can help you transition out of that system, tax-free, penalty-free, and get into a precious metals IRA. It's money in a trust. It's physical metals in a trust. It's not paper contracts or this IOUs type thing. No, they literally buy precious metals before you ink the deal, or as part of the inking. They've already gotten and acquired actual physical metals. Right now, precious metals have been going up since March. They were down around 1,700 for gold. In fact, we'll just do a quick skinny on it just because it's worth seeing. So here is here we go out. We're going to go out one year to date. Let's do year to date because it'll be good enough. So just before March, here's March right here. So just before March, probably mid-February, it looks like the 24th. I don't remember what happened, but it was down significantly lower. It says 1992, so maybe it wasn't quite down 17. It seems like that was like a year plus ago. But it's gone from 1986 up to 25.55. 1986 to 25.55 in 6 months. It's gone up so fast, people are actually going positive, meaning they're making more money on it and they actually have more buying power now than they did prior. So say they had $1,000 worth of gold. Well, the amount they have now can buy more than $1,000 could back then. Maybe that's the equivalent of $1,000 and, I don't know, 1,055, 1,065, whatever, who knows. But it's more than inflation they've made. It's actually positive. It and Bitcoin are the only two positive assets right now. Everything else is showing negative. Mark Moss was talking about that. I'll play that video again someday. Go to drslikesgold.com. drslikesgold.com. Get out of their freaking system before it's too late, frankly. And I'm not trying to rush you. It's totally your thoughts. It's a big deal. They ask a lot of questions. Goldco is awesome. Amazing customer service. Go to drslikesgold.com. 4 data points. If you've actually got a qualifying IRA or 401k, it'll qualify you for a half-ounce silver coin. If you don't, well, you're not gonna get anything because it states down in here you have to have a qualifying thing. If not, go in here and you can buy gold and silver and all that, and there's some cool stuff you can get as well. So drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. Get out of their system before they get out of you. Now here is somebody that apparently they found out. I don't remember what the joke is I was going to do on this. It's just, when you got to go to the bathroom, and I was going to make a comment about the Haitian thing with the ducks and the cats missing. So here was someone maybe trying to save some ducks and cats, but then at the end they kind of show that it's ducks and cats that are maybe trying to get the hell out of Springtown, Ohio. Whatever the case is, this is a pretty serious little moment on a car, and it's surprising they didn't hit anyone. So again, I don't know. There's lots of memes I like that chick. Bomb threat reported at multiple buildings in Springfield, Ohio. They got an email alert that there was bombs in some of these buildings, so they've got people closed out, freaking out, whatever. But Springfield, once again, Haitian town, odd timing. So just some stuff that we dug up that we found out. So this is Haitian report. Some Haitian report. I don't know, Haitian thingy. But the big question is, do Haitians eat cats? Well, yes. In a short answer, Haitians do eat cats. The cat meat is not a daily activity, they say, anyways. A daily activity, because we're going to hear somebody that kind of adds to this a little bit, because this doesn't bring up voodoo. Voodoo's a different thing altogether. So, in the sense of eating kitty cat, yes, they eat cats. It's not a normal thing. It's actually their day before Christmas. On the 24th of December, it's like Thanksgiving for us, and they eat cat. So, it's just a thing, right? It's kind of like if you had Thanksgiving without eating turkey, it would be kind of weird, right? Like eating a ham on Thanksgiving, you'd be like, who eats ham on Thanksgiving? Do they even sell them? Well, that's the thing. If you don't eat cat on December 24th, what are you? It's not December 24th. Some weird other holiday. So they, yes, do eat cats. It's considered a delicacy. It's disgusting as that is. But they eat all sorts of other stuff, like we do, regular meats. But cat meat is a delicacy. It's a special occasion. That's disgusting. I hear you, 100%. Here's someone that is Haitian by birth, talking about what she knows about her father and who he was and how he was and voodoo and stuff. I don't think they got hoodoo. I think they just have voodoo. But anyway.
My father immigrated from Haiti to the United States in the late 60s as a teenager. And I want to talk about these recent comments about the Haitians in Springfield, Ohio. First, I want to say my father and I are now estranged, but I did know him in my very, very young years. And when he immigrated, he was one person and they weren't sending, thousands of Haitians in one area. He wasn't eating people's pets and he didn't practice voodoo, but he did say that most of the island, the majority of the island, does practice voodoo. The reason they eat cats is for two reasons. Number one is survival. This is the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. You can't just go to a food bank like you can here or just go to McDonald's and get some free or cheap food. Unless, of course, there's a Christian missionary there. People in the United States have a really hard time imagining that type of thing, but it is true. Second, they do animal sacrifices for their religion, voodoo. They make these animal sacrifices to these gods for different reasons. You can do your own research on this. Do I think voodoo is a demonic religion? Yes, I do. That doesn't mean that you hate these people. These people need prayer. But you can't just take over all these people from another country and expect it to work. Not to mention, it doesn't fix the problems of that country. And there's more people left in Haiti that we can bring over. It's not racist to acknowledge that this is a problem. It's not racist to talk about these things that are happening. This is not just white Americans saying this is black Americans. You can look at the people in Springfield, Ohio saying that this is happening. Y'all just want to joke about Trump and say that he's crazy for saying that this is happening instead of actually checking at all to see if this is happening. You want to make jokes about these things. Well, what if it were happening to you and your community? And no, it's beyond eating their pets, even though that is bad enough.
You mean it sounds like it's potentially happening. Here's someone that lives in Springfield, a black lady who is not Haitian, who is expressing her concern about how scary and dangerous it is now in her neighborhood.
Shit ain't no joke. It's not funny. I really do not feel fucking safe here, bro. Like, everyone on TikTok, on Facebook, making these jokes to get everything's fucking funny. Like, imagine you being homeless for a whole fucking year for no fucking reason. Like, what the fuck? This shit is not fun. This shit is not cool, bro. They really out here decapitating animals and y'all are making jokes out of it. Imagine if you went outside and you saw your dog's head decapitated on the fucking ground. Like, why are y'all thinking this shit's a joke? It's not a joke. I don't feel comfortable walking anywhere. Like, what the fuck? I should be able to feel safe in my own city. Everybody's fucking homeless out here. Ain't shit but fucking scary ass Haitians just lurking and creeping and shit. Y'all thinking this shit's motherfucking funny? Like, keep making this shit up. It's not made up, bro. This shit is real life. This shit is really affecting me. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it sounds like it's actually happening, even though I know we have that city council guy. I actually had the video, but I wasn't going to play it 'cause it was stupid. But he's just like, no, nothing to see here, nothing happening. It doesn't sound like that's true. Marianne Williamson, the one that is or was running for president, I don't think she was able to get over some of the humps. So all said, she's out. But she got retruthed by Trump. She said, and was, I guess, responding to a lot of people, haters out there, continuing to dump on Trump because of the eating cats issue will create blowback on November 5th. Haitian voodoo is, in fact, real, and to dismiss the story out of hand, rather than listen to the citizens of Springfield, Ohio confirms in the minds of many voters the stereotypes of Democrats as smug, elite jerks who think they're too smart to listen to anyone outside their own silo. Yeah, they're in a tough place right now. Here's an interesting individual who's talking about how landlords are kicking people out of their homes in Springfield, Ohio, so they can, in turn, have Haitians go into them instead.
You know, the homeless problem. I don't know of a single homeless Haitian in this town because they all got vouchers. But I can show you a whole bunch of people that have been displaced because I'm that guy. Rob, you know, for 25 years I've worked with the homeless in this community. You know, a lot of people don't know because I'm not the guy out there blowing the horn because it ain't about me. It's the Jesus in me that goes out there and does it. Trust me, there's days I'm tired, but I'll get into homeless camps that nobody in a suit and tie will walk into. None. They trust me because I've never let them down. You know, and guys, if you don't think it's here right now, in October, we are getting ready to hit a wall here. There is not any relief for the homeless. The homeless people in this community are not the people you think they are, the squatters that aren't happening. It's not there. There's veterans. Come see me. I'm not real hard to find. Ask anybody on the street. They'll tell you how to get a hold of me. I'll take you there. And no, they don't want your toothpaste and your peanut butter sandwiches. They want you to come up with a solution to why they're displaced, why they lived in a house. I personally know, and I'll testify under oath, my hand to God, somebody that lost their house. They were there 7 years. The landlord said, hey, I need you to move out, find a temporary place. I'm going to remodel it, and then you can come back.
Thank you, Baron.
It was a lie. They moved him out, tripled the rent.
Thank you.
Follow
Thank you for
the
speaking.
money.
They moved him out so they could remodel, then tripled the rent because the rents are going through the roof there. Through the roof. Dem Rep Nadler, pictured with his head down, eyes apparently closed, looks like it, during testimony from mothers of migrant crime victims. Rep Jared Nadler, Democrat, New York, of course, is under fire after he appeared to close his eyes and lower his head during congressional testimony on the impacts of migrant crime on victims' families Tuesday, prompting criticism that leading Democrats are not taking these issues seriously and have disrespected those in mourning. Reps Chip Roy of Texas and Dan Bishop of North Carolina skewered the ranking member of the House Judiciary Committee after the incident had people in the audience fuming. So, of course, the photo says a lot. His eyes look pretty closed. Now, maybe he wasn't asleep. He was just thinking or taking one of those really, really long blinks. Maybe. Texas City shuts down a hotel occupied by a Venezuelan gang after 693 police calls. There you go, folks. And that's how you do it. They shut down the hotel that was taken over by the Venezuelan gangs. Done. Anybody that stands up, any of these guys want to stay around with guns and try to fight this, I guarantee it ain't going to go well for them. And there's this weird part of me because it's like, I don't want that to happen, but it would just be a playbook for everybody else to how to follow suit, right? Aurora Police Department has identified some known Tren de Aragua members, apparently, that are a little mischievous, to say the least. The Aurora Police Department has been actively investigating reports that members of Venezuelan prison gang Tren de Aragua have been living in Aurora and committing acts of violence against members of the migrant community. Below is a summary of documented and suspected members of this group known to Aurora Police. Additional information about the specific cases can be obtained from the appropriate clerk, but they've got all these dudes in there that have just total track records. A whole bunch of these guys. All running around. Who knows if they were part of owning that building or not. As Trump has said, literally Venezuela has let its prison doors open and said the only way that you can leave prison is if you go to America. Is that cool? And they're like, hell yeah. So here they are. The worst of Venezuela. Maybe some good ones too, but the worst of them definitely are here right now. Why did I share this? I don't know. Man arrested. Yeah, this is a trip. The 80 animals. This is a trip. Check this out.
Disturbing story out of Monterey County where a man was arrested for allegedly killing dozens of animals in the community of Prunedale, including miniature horses, goats, chickens, and rabbits. The Monterey County Sheriff's Office says 39-year-old Vicente Joseph Arroyo of Salinas used several weapons early Tuesday morning to kill about 80 animals in a 3-hour period. Neighbors say they started hearing shots being fired at around 3:30 a.m. Deputies got to the scene, but because the area was dark and full of brush, a SWAT team was called in to help, and the suspect was located in a nearby vineyard with the help of drones. Some of the animals Arroyo shot survived, but had to be euthanized due to their injuries.
I've been doing this for 24 plus years now, and no, I've unfortunately never seen anything like this when it comes to animal life lost. It's very tragic, very unfortunate.
No people were hurt. Arroyo faces several charges, including cruelty to animals and possession of an assault weapon.
Which, I don't know about the possession of an assault weapon. I mean, depends. You can have ARs in California. They're not illegal. They make them really weird. Like the stocks are all goofy, or you gotta break it open to be able to reload it. Like, it's crazy. It's very crazy. But yeah, needless to say, this dude just walked out onto a farm with an AR and a bunch of ammo and just started shooting animals. He was an immigrant. I don't know where he was from. Looks like Bay Area NBC was reporting this, so it's up Monterey County or something like that probably. What a mess. California considering plan to subsidize phone bills for illegal immigrants. Seriously? We're going to subsidize their phones now. We're going to buy them the nicest iPhones, I hope. I hear the 16 is going to be riddled with AI. It's the whole plan of it. It's going to be AI friendly. It's going to be Mr. AI or Mrs. AI. Mrs. AI. I don't friggin' know what his, her, sure pronouns they are. California government's considering a plan to subsidize home and cell phone bills for illegal immigrants. Folks, this is insane. They already passed the thing where they were going to give $150,000. It was a grant. It's kind of small, and it's been totally misrepresented. Little even myself guilty of, but little. I was pretty good about talking about the truth of it as well, but it didn't pass. Gavin Newsom said no, which is good. We can't afford it. This would be another thing we can't afford. As a state right now especially. I don't know if Gavin Newsom would do the right thing again or not. We'll see. We certainly don't. I don't know. We got plenty of people here. And we got a lot of homeless people here. A lot of homeless people here already. So I don't know. I mean, it's happening, I think, everywhere too, for that matter. New York commissioner, this NYPD commissioner, the Caban guy, he has resigned. We've talked about how he is under investigation. Seems to be some ties to China and all sorts of crazy shit. So I don't know. Whatever the case is, he's innocent until proven guilty. But yeah, there's a lot of fingers pointing at him from all sorts of crazy angles. This is pretty good. We have a sheriff department that is essentially calling out the feds for something that I gotta wonder. This sounds questionable. Sounds like maybe this shouldn't have happened, kind of.
Hello, everyone. I'm Assistant Chief Sean Taylor with the Millersville Police Department in Middle Tennessee. Many of you may have seen my video last week regarding the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation raiding our police department and my personal residence. They came and they seized evidence regarding corruption that we had locally that tied into corruption nationally, and they took all of our files so that we are unable to complete these cases. The cases that we've been working on affect every American. They affect us in the mortgages, fraudulent mortgages, human trafficking, narcotics trafficking, and many other crimes. We have crisscrossed the United States talking to state attorney generals, senators, congresspeople, and numerous law enforcement officials throughout the United States. We've identified a major corruption that's transnational. It involves the BRICS nations and China and investment companies and fraudulent mortgages on homes here in the United States in very key counties and key states. It goes into the election integrity and fraud, and it's creating a geopolitical shift within our political system. This is a multifaceted attack from a foreign adversary who is paying off our local municipal, county, state, and federal politicians to keep from coming to light. We are moving forward with this case in other states and other arenas, even though they have taken our files and our information. This is very important to us. When I say us, I mean we the people. It's time that we the people come together. It's time that we stop allowing ourselves to be segregated by our own government. No matter what race you are, what creed, or what religion you are Americans. We need to stand together as Americans and demand accountability of our elected officials. It's time for this corruption to stop and for us to have our country back so that we know we leave it in the good hands to our children, our grandchildren, because if we don't stand up and do this, we will no longer have a country to hand over to them. I'd like to send a special thanks out to Mark Fincham. He wrote a very good article that all of you can go and read at yournews.com regarding the information that I'm talking about tonight. One of the things that happened that really upsets me that the TBI did at my residence was they urinated in my bathtub and tracked urine throughout my home. To me, that was the government saying, piss on you, America. And that's not okay. It's time to stand up, unify, come together peacefully, and demand accountability. Thank you very much.
We got some really messed up people in this government. That is for sure. Concerning, isn't it? 3 judges have recused themselves from the case in Fulton County. This is kind of interesting. It's fun to listen to the news spin it, but it's what's better is to read this because the news they spin it. So these 3 judges have recused themselves from the case concerning Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis. They attempt to block subpoenas requiring her to testify before a Georgia State Senate committee this week, according to court records. The subpoenas issued by State Senate Special Committee on Investigations seeks Willis's testimony and documents related to her ongoing investigation into 2020 election interference and her relationship with Nathan Wade, a former special prosecutor. Willis filed for an injunction to halt the subpoenas, which demanded her appearance at a hearing on Friday. In a filing submitted on September 4th, Willis, represented by former Georgia Governor Roy Barnes, argued that the subpoena's broad demands for documents would harm the prosecution's case. She requested a permanent injunction to prevent enforcement of the subpoenas by the committee. 3 Fulton County Superior Court judges have recused themselves from the case. Judges Craig Schwall Sr. and Melanie Leftridge recused themselves last week, citing unspecified conflicts of interest. On Monday, Judge Scott McAfee also recused himself, noting his involvement in overseeing the election interference case against former President Donald Trump and others. McAfee, in his recusal order, wrote that given the overlap with the Georgia election interference case against Trump and others, his impartiality might reasonably be questioned. He directed the Fulton County Clerk of Court to randomly assign the matter to another judge. As of Tuesday, it remained unclear whether a new judge would be assigned in time to hear the case before Friday's Senate hearing. It was also uncertain whether Willis would comply with the subpoenas if an injunction was not issued, which would be illegal, I think. That'd be also unbefitting of her position, wouldn't it? So this will be kind of interesting to see how it plays out. Willis does not want this stuff to come out, does not want it to come forward. She could say whatever she wants for why, but this is ultimately just going to hurt her. This is going to be bad for her. Harvey Weinstein has been hit with new criminal charges in New York, a prosecutor said in court on Thursday, as the Manhattan District Attorney's Office prepares to retry former movie mogul following the reversal of his rape conviction. Jurors in Manhattan found Weinstein 72 guilty on rape charges in 2020, but the New York Court of Appeals threw out the conviction in April, finding Weinstein did not get a fair trial because a judge improperly allowed testimony by accusers he was not formally charged with assaulting. Does it sound familiar? Now, again, do I think Weinstein's a good guy? No, he's a horrible guy. Does it sound like New York was railroading him? with fake processes? Yeah, it does actually. Kind of like with Stormy Daniels and this other lady who they can't prove that Trump ever raped her, but still found damages against him for the thought of rape or whatever the hell it was. I don't know. I forget what the hell the stupid charge actually was. It was ridiculous. So this is just another example of how the left and their system of court is so weird. They just go after people in a weird way. Again, Weinstein, bad guy. Isn't there enough there to get him? And yet they've got to manufacture stuff, kind of. Former CIA officer accepted gifts from China for top secret info. Sentenced to prison. Alexander Yuk Ching Ma. Doesn't even sound Chinese or anything. He conspired to deliver national defenses info into the People's Republic of China. So there you go. 71-year-old is finally going to, I'm sure he wasn't working recently, though he probably looks like he's 30. But still, Justice Department. Anywho, AP posted this. New CIA workplace assault case emerges as spy agency shields extent of sexual misconduct in its ranks. It's literally trying to say it's secret. It's classified. Can't tell you guys what we're doing about the fact that we've got enormous amounts of sexual misconduct going on. In fact, there's a story told within here how one of the dudes was celebrating a birthday in office and literally shoved his hand up one of his coworkers' skirts in front of others and then kissed her on the mouth, I guess. So, yeah, that's pretty sure not okay to do. I did take some sexual harassment training recently. Got to do it every year. And, yeah, that was in there. Not supposed to do that, apparently. I think Trump said grab him by the pussy. Pretty sure you can't do that either anymore. Nope, not allowed. Not allowed. Though Trump's quote is actually very true, and I totally misquoted it like everybody does. White House official slammed over accidental email to reporter, declaring there is no use in responding to veteran concerns over Afghanistan withdrawal. This dude, John Kirby, this tard on the screen, he accidentally hit reply all to an email about the disastrous withdrawal. He meant to just respond to, I guess, the White House or someone in particular at the White House, but instead he hit reply all. And so he said, quote, obviously no use in responding, a, quote, handful, end quote, of vets indeed, and all of one stripe. So I think he's even ripping on their rank. So he's like, I'm not even going to give these. They don't even deserve a response from me. Yeah, but he replied all. So now he looks like, well, the douche that he is. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? The way the world turns. Protecting the security of our elections is vital for the future of our republic, and Congress has the duty to ensure that only U.S. citizens decide U.S. elections. But right now, that obvious principle is under serious threat. Thanks to the Biden-Harris administration, Chuck Schumer, and 198 House Democrats, the millions of illegal aliens and non-citizens who have entered our country over the last 3.5 years could be allowed to vote in federal elections, even though this is illegal. How? In nearly every state today, non-citizens can walk into DMV or welfare offices, fill out a federal voter registration form, claim they are a U.S. citizen, and register to vote. Incredibly, states are banned from asking about citizenship. It's insane where we're at. Just absolutely insane. James Comer requests FBI documents on Tim Walz's China ties. We'll see where he gets on that. We sort of talked about that already. The act of certifying the presidential election results will now be given the highest security designation. It's going to be up there with basically Super Bowls and everything else, but it's going to be a big, big deal. So now January 6th will be protected. There'll be National Guard no matter what, just in case it's that serious. All right, that's cool. I think it's going to be a little different this year, but we'll see how it all plays out in the big picture. Again, Merrick Garland's just stupid. It's 20 seconds. Check it out.
Federal prosecutors and agents may never make a decision regarding an investigation or prosecution for the purpose of affecting any election or the purpose of giving an advantage or disadvantage to any candidate or political party.
So that's good to know. We've at least got that covered now, right? So we'll see if that holds true, because Jack Smith did just indict further charges against Trump, which again goes to the question, does he have any control or not? We'll find out. Here's Trump being just awesome. Again, Trump is just so awesome. Gotta love the dude, right? Gotta absolutely love the dude. Again, here's MSNBC talking about the New York Court of Appeals rejecting Trump's efforts to overturn the gag order. We don't have to play that. But we'll see. This is probably going to the Supreme Court next, so that's always good stuff. Again, promo for MyPillow. Good guys going on over there. MyPillow.com/OTF. MyPillow.com/OTF. Again, they got the blowout sale. They're getting rid of all their original pillows. I think the best pillow ever made. Limit of 10, but for $15 basically. I know they want me to say $14.98, but whatever the case is, I'm not actually going to say $14.98. But what we are going to see is we're going to see incredible deals continue, and we are again. Free shipping over $75. Fantastic. We've got $25 in all sorts of different kinds of towels. $24.98 once again on sheets. These 6-piece towel sets, so incredible. Like literally, you try regular towels that are supposedly expensive and nice, right? I've had Bed Bath & Beyond. I had some like nicer ones like that. And they feel awesome, but they don't dry as well. It's almost like a chamois almost kind of, right? And then these... they feel a little different because you're kind of used to the other feel, but it's because there's no chemicals and weird stuff on them, and they literally just absorb water from you. They're the best towels I've ever used, hands down, and for $25, you seriously have nothing to lose, and the great colors. But you should check them out. They're fan-friggin-tastic. Also, they're blowing out these slippers. They're not going to last long at $9.50 each, but if you want to try to get a pair and see if they've got your size, I highly recommend you go to mypillow.com/OTF and see what slippers they got available. Think about Christmas maybe, or just think about right now and you and be selfish. Who knows? They've got a bunch of closeout stuff going on too. 80% off all sorts of different products. They've got socks. They've got some actually surprisingly good coffee. 50% off. Literally, it's a pound of coffee that's surprisingly good. Yeah, and it's not like the greatest in the world. If you're a coffee snob, don't get it. If you're someone that just drinks like regular coffee or canned coffee, U-Ban or whatever, dude, totally get this. It's awesome coffee. I would check it out. It's 50% off, and of course, you're helping the channel as well. You've got dog blankets. You've got blankets of all kinds, $25. You've got couches and pillows of all kinds, $25. More towels, $25. Dog beds, $25. They've got some really cool stuff. A lot of really cool stuff. Go to mypillow.com/OTF. You help the channel. You're helping an American company. You're helping out Mike Lindell with a lot of the stuff that he's got going on in the big picture. You're helping out a lot. Go to mypillow.com/OTF. Get the best night of sleep you have ever had. A state judge struck down North Dakota's ban on abortion Thursday, saying the state constitution creates a fundamental right to access abortion before a fetus is viable. So there you go. It's how states are going to decide this stuff. It is what it is. You know, some feel differently. Some, it is what it is. We had a suspicious attack that hit a U.S. base at Baghdad airport ahead of the Iranian president's visit. A lot of concern about why this is possibly happening. So again, not sure what is up. They're not sure if it was a rocket attack or a mortar attack, so they don't know. Kind of weird, but this is right the day before the Israeli leader was coming in. I think the shelling took place. U.S. Embassy support. They may have just before the. I want to say it was before the Iranian guy was going to show up. Yeah, the Iranian president. There it is, at least the top. So yeah, crazy times. U.S. Navy SEAL unit that killed bin Laden trains for Chinese invasion of Taiwan. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but it's so bizarre that they're posting this. First off, U.S. Navy SEAL Team 6 wasn't ever even supposed to be known. I think it was Obama that mentioned something about him. So they took a top secret group and he declassified it in front of the world and basically created a problem for these guys. And so now they're telling the world what these guys are training for. That's strange. Like, this sounds very much like what the deep state does, that's for sure. Russia's putting SIM cards in its exploding one-way attack drones to use Ukraine's cell phone network for strikes. They're literally using these, and they're putting SIM cards so it just aims towards the cell tower. It's kind of brilliant. I don't know if that makes me a bad person for thinking that, but it's absolutely brilliant. There you go. And we are just steps away from nuclear war. That's the fun part right now. Fun part, yeah. The United Kingdom has decided to allow Ukraine to use Storm Shadow cruise missiles to strike targets within Russian territory. If this is in fact true, and if Ukraine does it, this is going to get very, very ugly and possibly nuclear. Possibly. So former president of Russian Dmitry Medvedev threatens the United Kingdom. Literally says, quote, "The island called Britain is likely to sink in the next few years. Our hypersonic missiles will help if necessary." Whoops. Vladimir Putin warns the U.S. and NATO will be at war with Russia if Ukraine is allowed to use long-range missiles. This is a red line. One of the red lines was do not encroach NATO on Ukraine, or we will have to take care of Ukraine, essentially. And the treaty was signed with George Bush Jr., and every single president except Donald Trump, let them, or did encroach, let NATO encroach, or helped NATO encroach. And so we broke the treaty multiple times. And then when we had a weak leader, they took care of the problem because they knew Biden wouldn't do anything about it. And here we are today. This whole entire problem is created because of the Democrats. And the Democrats are the ones that are fighting so hard to fix this problem. And yet they're the ones that created it, and their fix obviously won't fix it because they suck at coming up with solutions. Brigitte Macron is awarded damage over viral false claim that she is actually a transgender man named Jean-Michel. Yeah, okay, whatever. Maybe you've had your name legally changed or whatever, but come on now. Now, here's the thing. I know for a fact I can't ever set foot in Paris or France, England. There's just so many places I'm not allowed to go anymore because of crap I've said online. There's no way. They'd arrest me. They'd totally arrest me. That'd be awesome, too. So, yeah, not going to do that. But, yeah. So she went after the person that online in the post told everybody that she was a man, which she is. She's a man. I don't know if she's gone through the sex change. You can say whatever you want, but you were born a man. You were born a man. Come on. We all know pretty much who you were, too, for that matter. Interestingly, the couple who filmed the Marine, Daniel Penny, this was the subway guy. I think he was defending someone's life and unfortunately choked out this individual who was attacking somebody, and he ended up dying. So they're now, of course, trying to bust this guy. And so the person that filmed it, that had the footage of it happening, the proof, if you will, that he was choking him out, that person, one, has taken down their post, two, left the country. They didn't live in this country to begin with. And three, did not provide the footage to anybody. So they don't have it. They can't use it for the case against Daniel. Isn't that interesting? Daniel Penny. So I don't know if it's going to probably hurt the case. We'll see. Prosecution's not getting that, though. They want it, but I don't think they can force it. I don't think you can force somebody to come back to the country. They're not a criminal. Can't force them to come and be, in a court hearing or a court case. You can't force somebody to do that that's out of country. Screw you. CNN posted this. The U.S. is dismantling nuclear warheads to power the next generation of reactors. I don't know if we're just trying to use weapons in a nice, useful way or what, but we are, in fact, taking the older weapons apart, and we are trying to make sure that they can be reutilized, turned back into something useful. So we're trying to make these small little nuclear reactors, if you will, that can then power larger communities that are easier to handle or less dangerous, stuff like that. So I don't know. Kind of cool. Here's a neat little bit of footage. I guess SpaceX did its first crew hatch open, kind of a spacewalk. Didn't really leave the capsule itself, but opened it up and made sure it didn't do something crazy and made sure the spacesuit works or whatever. Short moment. And again, this is one of those things where if you believe the Earth's flat, you're definitely not going to believe this is true. Whatever.
Pitch and roller 3, yaw is in 2. Switching.
So yeah, pretty cool. I don't know. I think I like that stuff. I'm a geek when it comes to that. And finally, a lot of people have been talking about the giant earthquake we had here in California. No, again, it's a 4.7. All right, anything about 6 or above, yeah. All right, 5.7 and above, maybe. Seriously, it's 6. Let's just call it a 6. If it's a 6 or more, then call your friends in California. Are you okay? If it's anything under that, no. No, I understand you parts of the nation that never get them. Yeah, you'd freak out if you had a 3.5, but we get them all the time. We build for it. We're like Japan. Japan had a 4.7 today. Trust me, they didn't give a shit. That was no big deal. They're like, oh, was that an earthquake? Right? So come on, it's not that bad. So remember, we're fighting this fight, folks. The deep state's going to do everything they can to jack us every 6 ways from Sunday, but we're winning. We're proving all their lies. We're making a huge difference. Your guys' ripples are what are changing the future of this planet. Keep up the hard work. I love you guys. Where we go one, we go all. It's On the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.